wonderful to see you all this morning. Welcome to the 2022 State of the Schools address by our Superintendent, Dr. Elisa McLean. Before we get started today, if you would, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all so much. My name is Stan Winborn. I'm the Associate Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction and Student Services. And we are so happy to see you all here today. We hope you find this time useful and beneficial as you hear about some of the past successes and future aspirations for our school district. But before we hear from our superintendent, we're going to hear from our board chairman, Mr. David Richardson. Sir, you take the podium.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Board of Education, we're very excited that you chose to be here this morning. We know that there are lots of things that fill up your calendar, and we're very excited that you chose to come and hear our superintendent and what is going on in Granville County Public Schools. We have lots of exciting things to share with you this morning, where we've been and where we plan on going. On behalf of the board, who will be introduced to you in just a few moments, we just want to thank you for your support of Granville County Public Schools and our mission statement as we empower every student every day. We're very thankful for the opportunity that we are able to be a part of a community that can wrap around education as you do. We do have some board members that are not with us this morning as business has taken them out of town, but they send their regrets for that. But again, we're so thankful that you are using your time this morning to hear what wonderful things are going on here in Granville County Public Schools. So it's my honor to introduce to you Mr. Bill Graham, who's our Executive Director of Operations.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. It's my great privilege to recognize some distinguished guests with us today. I'd like to start with members of our board. We're thankful that David Richardson is able to join us, the chair. He has been in Tennessee for the past few days, so I'm glad he was able to be here to make it for this. I want to acknowledge Ms. Ethel Anderson, member of the board, Dr. Gregory McKnight, Mr. Leonard Peace. Thank you to the members of our board for being here today. I saw coming in today Mr. Lunsford from Stovall area. Thank you, Ms. Lunsford. I'm sorry. I'm sitting here thinking Toller Moon. I saw Mr. Harry Mills. So thank you, Mr. Mills. I'm really pleased that so many of our county commissioners are able to join us. I saw Mr. Jimmy Gooch, Mr. Russ May, Mr. Tim Karen, Mr. Zotis Day, good to see you, Mr. Day, and Sue Hinman is with us. Thank you, Sue. And we're very honored today to have our representative, Mr. Terry Garrison, joining us. Mr. Garrison, thank you so much for taking time out from your schedule to join us. So I don't want to offend anybody, but I think I gathered folks as you came in, so thank you all for being here. At this time, I would like to ask Vicki Hines to come up.
Good morning. We are grateful to be here today, physically in your presence. The State of the Schools address is a time for us to share and to shine and to celebrate. And we should be celebrating because we have collectively navigated through universally challenging times. And as a reflection of our community, our schools have risen to meet those challenges head on by working creatively to meet the needs of our students. So now we ask you to join us and help us celebrate. We want to celebrate our staff and our students and our teachers. This is the state of our schools.
Excellent. Thank you for that to our executive team, and good morning, everyone. Good morning. Now, I never outgrew the teacher in me, so you'll have to forgive me a little bit. I thank you for the quietness this morning, but let's have a little class. How about that? I'm going to begin this morning by adding just a few more greetings. Will my principals please stand? We're so delighted to have you with us. Will you look around the room? Give them a round of applause. Thank you so very much for all you do. I'd also like to ask our academic team to please stand. These individuals have led the way academically this year for our entire district. Let's give them a round of applause. Other thank yous this morning. It would not have been possible had it not been for the following individuals. So please just admonish me for just a moment. Our technology team has done a fantastic job. Some of you know this, some of you may not. We've been without the internet for about 28, 29 hours. So everything happening this morning is because we had to go old school. We had to download, we had to turn it into PowerPoints and things of that nature. Let me tell you a little funny about that. As we visited schools yesterday, they had to go old school too. And so every time children saw me or our teachers saw me, they thought we were going to close school, and I got to say something like this: "You're going to learn like I learned growing up." And it was really quite pleasurable. So will you just join me in a small round of applause for our technology team. They've done a fantastic this morning, all. And the ladies you met in the lobby, our child nutrition department, I thought they did an incredible job preparing for us this morning, and we're going to continue with them when we leave here, but just give them a round of applause as well. Principal Mary Wareheim has allowed us to come into the venue this morning. This is what we consider Granville Academy, and there's several other places here. I won't blow that, but Principal Mary Wareheim, wave your hand, please. I want everyone to see you. Thank you for letting us come this morning. This is a very versatile facility that has been transferred into this. Thank you for that. Mrs. Shave works directly with our Board of Education and out of the superintendent's office, and she's coordinated everything. Mrs. Alston Shave, will you just step in here, please? She's probably running. There she is. Thank you, Alston. You did a great job this morning. And we had two students, I believe, hand you a little star this morning. I hope you have. And those two students are students here at our Granville Academy site, and they are Maya Williams and David Carson. Let's give it up for Maya and David. Last on the list, I don't know if you've noticed, but coming in, the rain washed away some of it, but our maintenance department prepared the facility. The way we sort of translated things, moved the old furniture, got the new furniture in. You can see it's a little different, but we pulled it from everywhere in the district to make this morning happen. And I want to thank our maintenance department. We only have a few of them, and they did a great job, so let's give them a round of applause. I too want to give special thanks to all of our partners. I won't repeat the names. Thank you for coming, Reverend Cozart. He's here as well. This is the chair of our Board of Commissioners. We really appreciate all of you for being here. Board members, business partners, our chiefs, everyone. And if they couldn't be here, what was neat is they sent their regrets. We thank you for that. We know it's tough just finding the time, but your presence says it all. If you're here, if you aren't here, just know we value you, we thank you, we appreciate you. Now, we're going to play a little game. Every teacher has an icebreaker, right? Well, we have one this morning. Let's have our class icebreaker. Here's the question. Did you know the Mary Potter Center for Education, that's where we are now, has 4 schools? It houses 4 schools. Do you know the 4 schools? I feel like I should play a little Jeopardy music here. It houses 4 schools. Mary, you're not allowed to answer. Every class has the overachiever, right? Every class. Mary, you're with me. You get to hang with me. Would someone like to take a stab at that this morning? Would someone like to do that? Well, don't worry. Would you, you do have a cheat sheet. No, I'm not going to do that. But let's do this. You know, our board has been grappling with things such as consolidation and such, and part of that is just revamping the way we do business. But the answer to this question was, when the consolidation occurred here at Mary Potter, a bit of a promise was made in that motion. And that was that we would continue to make Mary Potter a viable part of the community. And this is how it occurs. This is how it occurs. Here at this site where we are seated this morning, we have Granville Academy, which is our blended learning school. We have the 5-star Virtual Academy. And during last year, virtual school occurred at each individual school. This year, it is housed here. So learning occurs virtually, but the home base is here under this roof. We have the Cadence Academy here for the very first year. We call it the Cadence Academy because how many of us know sometimes life just doesn't turn out the way we want it to, but we don't want to lose those youngsters. And we do believe in second chances in education, right? So when you get to march to the beat of your own drum, we have Cadence Academy for those youngsters to come back and to finish things up rather swiftly. And of course, Phoenix Academy is located here. So if I was to go back as an educator and re-ask the question, we'd all get 100, right? We would have learned that. So we can now share with everyone in the community that we have how many schools housed here? 4. And they are? Excellent. I have the smartest class in town. I love it, everyone. All right. During the pandemic, we learned very swiftly how to do things differently. Not because we wanted to, but because we had to, right? We had no choice. We didn't get a warning that March that things were going to be different. And boy, were they. We learned things. Think about these words. See if they resonate with you as we go down memory lane. And that's what this presentation is going to be this morning. We're going to talk a little bit about our past over the last 2 years, our present and our future. And then we're going to let the kids tell you, so what is our state of the schools? They're going to finish it off for me. But here's the past. We talked about that pandemic and what survival was like. When I really thought about it, do you remember no toilet paper on the shelves? Do you remember the gas lines? I do, trying to figure out, are we going to have enough gas? And parents were trying to figure it out. Well, we were too for our buses when we were coming to school. Do you remember the schedule of AA, Wednesday off, and then BB? And other districts were bringing their children to school every 3 weeks. Remember that? Well, we had a partnership at that time with TIP, and they were doing research around the country, and they shared that with us, and we took it to our board, and we went with that partnership. We went with that schedule as the result of that partnership. We had all kinds of things. We had to learn to do things differently, but we kept feeding children. We put packets together. We had virtual learning. We were far from perfect, but we did the very best we could, and now today, here we are. Take a look at memory lane. was our encouragement slogan in Granville County. We've got this. And we still do, thanks to many of you in this room. We're extremely grateful. So what is the state of our schools? It's the same as it was before the pandemic. We want this to be a district where students have a wonderful place to learn and grow. We're back full time. Our classrooms are open, athletics is occurring, our clubs and activities are up and running, we're attending field trips, we're doing what we can to get back to what is now called a new normal. Some people are looking for that thing called what we used to do, and somehow, I'm not sure that is going to be found. But people are working really hard with children every day to find that new balance of what we can do and can't do. In fact, in every video you're going to see going forward, we made them just about a week and a half ago. And that was after our Board of Education passed on February 28th that we are a mass optional district. And I want you to pay attention to the choices children are making. What we're doing is trying to make children comfortable and trying to make our educators as comfortable as possible in this new normal. So, what is the state of our schools? Let's look at the data. Since I arrived in 2017, several things have changed. One is the number of schools. Take a look. Another piece of important data as we do this work happens to be our demographic data. Take a look. Our free and reduced lunch numbers are before you, but during the pandemic, the federal government allowed us to feed absolutely every child. We had universal breakfast. Now, what this number reflects happens to be the application count. So we venture to think this number is probably off a bit because people got used to just getting lunch and breakfast whether they completed an application or not. So we think this number really probably is higher, but we've given you what was actually submitted. Now let's take a look at our strategic plan. We've updated this plan through the work that occurred last summer up to the present, but we did not change in the plan our priorities. They are the exact same as they were back in 2018. Why? Because in our district, academic success, health and safety of our children, human capital, fiscal responsibility, communication and community remain critical to the work we do. You will also find that high standards for all, growth, high expectations, quality communication and fast response, along with high quality instruction and engagement, and caring for everyone with a smile remain important. We are still about 5-star service in our district. Wearing the pins you have today depicts that we are all in this together. We are still committed to excellence and achievement for all. In the area of human resources, several things have changed since I last did this presentation 2 years ago. We had many more people than you will find in the basic fact category. We've had to make cuts as the result of funding that has come into our district. However, services have remained the same. But what I'd like to share with you are some points of pride. We still have our 10% local supplement, but we have a strong beginning teacher support program, aggressive international recruiting efforts, tuition reimbursement program for all employees, and the retention bonuses this year have been put in place, and we're using ESSER dollars for that work. Everyone is recruiting. This is just one picture, but everyone is out there recruiting because we want some of the best talent we can get for our youngsters in the classroom. And frankly, this is an advertisement. If you know anyone who'd like to drive a bus or sub in our classrooms, I'm asking today, send them our way. we would love to have them. Our attrition rate has fluctuated over time, and I'd like to just say here, this document is from March to March. Now, what will be staunchly different is the attrition rate for 2022. That figure is astronomical. It hit our district terribly, and I'm not using that word lightly. So I'll be back before you with that. In the area of safety, I'd like to just say it is our top priority. Our youngsters did return to us, as they did all over the country. No children are no different in Granville County. They're children. But they did return with a plethora of needs. And so our discipline has gone up, but it did not change that we still have our safety task force, we still conduct our drills, and we have all of our plans in place. And we are grateful for all of our partners as they collaborate with us in the area of safety. We still have kept the plans in place for no bullying, no harassment. Alcohol, weapons, drugs, and fighting have no place in our school. Now, because they have no place, does that mean it doesn't happen? Here's the difference. When it does, we deal with it. So when you see the numbers, it's because we dealt with it. And so those numbers have gone up. We are very pleased, though, that the Here Comes the Bus app is about safety as well, because our children in this county do not stand in the rain, the snow, or the elements, because parents can see real time when the bus will arrive. We've been able to keep that in place. Now, if you see something, say something, is something as well that remains in place. We want everyone to feel comfortable, all of our parents, all of our children, to know that there is a safety tip line for absolutely every school. This is just an example to the right of the screen. This one is for Butnerstem Elementary, and every school advertises their own number. If you see something, say something. And we want everyone to feel comfortable with that. Our law enforcement officers have been incredible to work with. They continue to have ideas and suggestions, and we need to sit and talk about what we see in our county. I'm most grateful for it. Now here's some upgrades we'd like to share with you. The buzzer systems, the fencing, the perimeter fencing, the exterior lighting, even the lighting you have in this room. It is much more economical and environmentally safe than what we used to use. So as we continue to do that work, we will continue investing in the LED lighting. Our playground equipment is much safer than some of that old stuff we grew up on that got the splinters in your little legs and so forth and so on. And I'm appreciative that some of you have been able to join us for some of the installation programs we've had at schools. The children have really enjoyed that. Some of you may remember a couple of years back, maybe 2 years back, the safety entrance at Stovall down in the Stovall community. Boy, did that help the traffic pattern on the main highway. And if you've not gone down to take a look at that, we encourage you to do it. But our technology infrastructure, the information highway, is also much safer. Sometimes things happen and you can't see them, but we've invested a great deal of money into all of these areas. Now, by way of curriculum and instruction, where do we stand? This is probably one of my favorite pictures, but I have to tell you, these children have all grown up, and you can tell it was before the pandemic. Some of these kids have graduated, have moved on. I see one who will graduate this year, and others who were in middle school or in high school. But the point is, this is where we get to keep the main thing, the main thing. These were my ambassadors that year, and I still meet with the children. I meet with children, parents, teachers, and principals. We have 4 ambassador groups who come in to sort of advise me. And I thoroughly enjoy that work because they have some pretty good ideas about how this district should be run, what we should consider, and what we should think about. And sometimes they're all on the exact same page. Other times, not so much. Here are the instructional areas of focus. It is on that of rigor, keeping students engaged, and quality monitoring and feedback. We go all around the district conducting walkthroughs, and we do have an instructional framework focused on excellence and urgency throughout the district. The focus this year is just that, to stay focused. Where we were able during the pandemic to give grace and to sort of survive, we are now about attempting to thrive and to focus academically on each and every child. We want it to be about achievement and continuous improvement. We want double-digit growth. The word growth is what we are all about in academics this year. Growth. Growth, growth, growth is what we're talking about with absolutely every single child. When it comes to the accountability system in North Carolina itself is looking at a brand new accountability model. We are just one of only 3 states left using the accountability model that is currently being used. So North Carolina realizes we need a new accountability model. But again, the focus is on growth. Because of the pandemic, the lack of connectivity in some communities, that's us, right? We don't have connectivity everywhere. We know some things have to change. We're pleased we have 4 Restart schools in our district, which allows them some flexibility. I really can't give other schools, and they are being as creative as possible to do some things differently. I'd like to just showcase at this time West Oxford Elementary. They're using their flexibility to have recently summoned our board to have a dual language immersion program that will begin next school year. So we are so pleased and proud that they were being thinkers outside of the box, as all 4 of our schools are doing, but they needed to do something different that required our board to intervene and take some action. This word I hope everyone in the community knows about. It's a really important word to this district to focus on reading, reading, and reading everywhere. If you know nothing else, you probably know about Dr. Seuss's Day, because we typically pull upon everyone. But our Vision 2020 project is we want children reading 20 minutes in school and 20 minutes at home. So we're asking everyone to assist with that. You might also be familiar with our book bus. We run that bus like crazy, especially in the summer. It visits various neighborhoods throughout the community. This past summer, it even visited our school sites. So we were pleased it was able to do that. The book bus gives students books when students visit the book bus, and it is not just for Granville County Public Schools students. We have people driving from Durham and Henderson. They drive from private schools and church schools to meet our book bus. We want books in the hands of children. What's also interesting about the book bus and getting books in the hands of children is that thus far we have put over 20,000 books in the hands of children in this community. That is a point of pride. If you're interested in helping children in the community, not just with schoolwork, we're asking everyone in your civic groups, with 4-H, with any agency with which you work, talk the same language with us about reading 20 minutes a day. Encourage parents and guardians to read with their children and throw in multiplication and cursive writing because that's part of the curriculum again. And emphasize a college-going culture as well as a work-going culture. Both should be discussed when we're talking with our children. Back to testing and accountability. Just in case you weren't sure, I wanted to make sure everyone knew the areas in which we test children. Reading and math, grades 3 through 8. Biology, English 2, math 1 and 3. The ACT in 11th grade, we're measured on that. Work keys assessment done at the end of a pathway. Attendance is part of the accountability model. People want to know, why is Dr. McLean's voice on the new voice message for attendance? Because it's part of my accountability model. Dr. McLean wants them in school. That's critically important. And then, of course, our graduation rate. Take a look at this. Take a look at this. This is important, and it is a point of pride for us. The state of North Carolina did not give districts their own reading data as far as growth is concerned, but we did get subgroup data as far as accountability is concerned. Look at the subgroup data. We exceeded growth in many areas. That is the dark green. We met growth in many subgroup areas. That is the mild green. And then you can see where we did not meet growth. The majority of the screen is in what color? We met. And in pockets, we exceeded. And in only a few did we not meet. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to spread the good news. Our teachers are working so hard. Our principals are working so hard, and our children are working hard. Of course we want to get better. Of course we do. But they are moving the needle and they are filling gaps. In order to pass the math test, you have to be able to read now. So we want to keep working in this area. Take a look at our graduation rate. You talk about a point of pride. When I arrived in 2017, we had a grad rate of 81.1. Guess where it was last year? We ended the year at 83.8, just short of 84%. Now we want that higher, but we're still moving in what direction? Up. For my high school folk, let's give you some props this morning. Thank you so very much. Thank you. But this is what I have to do after serving on all levels. Does that just happen in high school? No. It happens. It begins in elementary school, middle school, and it culminates in high school. And it takes a lot of work on the part of the parent as well, because you've got to get this done in 4 years or you get dinged. This has to happen from 9th grade to 12th grade, or this you do not get credit for as a district. So this is critically important. Our academic team worked extremely hard this year to put resources at the fingertips of our teachers so that they wouldn't have to go over here to find the curriculum. They wouldn't have to go over here to look at release test items. They wouldn't have to go over here. You get where I'm going. They've now put everything in one place for educators in our district, and people all over the state are calling us to say, hey, can you send that to us? And right now we're saying, absolutely not, it's too much work. We did too much work for that. But that's just how wonderful our team is. They've done a magnificent job. They're presenting at conferences all over the place. Granville County rocks. These are resources to support teachers in their work. And I'm so proud of what we're doing to do that. Our focus is on what we teach, how we teach, and authentic literacy. And we teach to the North Carolina standards only. We teach to the North Carolina standards only in our district, and our local curricula is aligned to the standards. We don't teach CRT or anything controversial in our school. Folks, we just don't have time for it. I'm going to be real honest with you. We have plenty to teach with the North Carolina standards. We don't have time for anything else. If we do this well, we could probably have a repeat performance and or make it better. But look at where our babies went last year. This represents the class of 2021. If you want to know the state of affairs of our students last year, look at the colleges and universities where our students went. Take a look. This deserves a round of applause. I have to point this out because I had not seen this before, I just have to say. Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. How many of you heard of that? Hey, hot dog, hot dog. I'm going to tell you something. Isn't that incredible that our students, our counselors, are continuing to point students in areas of their interest and not our interest? That's amazing. It's amazing. All right, let me keep moving. Our CTE programming is second to none. I'm really excited about this. State of affairs in CTE. We have 7 program areas and 25 pathways in our district. I've been in other districts, and guess what gets cut first? Either the arts program or your CTE programming, but not here. Our children have options and opportunities in career and technical education. It's important. It's important. Take a look at this. The National Career Readiness Certificate is given, it's also known as the Work Keys Assessment, is given to students when they complete their pathway of courses. When they are completers, they take this assessment and it tells employers, you're ready to work, you're capable, you're able, you're employable. It's the same assessment adults take when they're trying to get certain jobs, manufacturing jobs, or wherever they would like to go. It is the same assessment. The highest is platinum. I arrived in 2017, and at that time we had 22 students earn platinum certificates, platinum level. Now, in the fall of this year, we had some students already complete as completers, so we went ahead and tested them. We already have 52 platinum. Our teachers are rocking and rolling with these kids. You want to know the state of affairs in CTE? Take a look. Now, we still have more. We are testing this semester, and so there will be more numbers added, but I'd say we are on track to do exceptionally well with our work keys assessment this year. That I can't wait to report to you when we all get done. But the indications are pretty powerful. Take a look at CTE in Granville County Public Schools. They work with our CTE service. Mr. Harry Mills, you do a lot with our CTE programming, and any of our business partners present this morning, will you just wave your hand and stand? There we go. We thank you so very much. It's quite fascinating what our youngsters are exposed to before leaving. And take a look. Here's some up-close pictures. Yes, we really do have the roosters and the chicken, and that was a full digestive system you saw. It really was, of an animal. The children get to touch things. Virtual Enterprises is going to a national competition, so we're excited about that. Take a look at all of these pictures. Now, what's neat about this is these are some of our business partners, and this is actually a slide showing where our students actually work. That's a powerful slide. Our students are actually employed. They are there doing internships and apprenticeships. They receive course credit for their time with these businesses and these industry partners. This is incredible work, hands-on work, before they leave us to go into the real world. And we're grateful for these partnerships, but they're far more than that. Let's talk about grants. Grants. When you don't have everything you need, I was raised in my household to say if you don't have what you need, honey, you find a way or you make one. So we write grants. We write grants. That's what we've been doing since I arrived to the district. Everyone does it. Teachers write grants. We had a young lady at the district office level who assisted with that. She's no longer with us, but she's computed and calculated over time, and we've done this through the fall. These are competitive grants. We have others that are not necessarily competitive, but our competitive grants, and we have more than this, at this point total $10.2 million. I think that deserves a round of applause. I wanted to show you this though, because one thing about competitive grants is I don't get to use that money for other things. They are specifically designed for what you apply for. So I want to be really clear that Granville County Public Schools doesn't have $10.2 million to use any old kind of way. They must be used for very specific reasons. And here are just a few. Mental health personnel, school resource officers, because we would like to expand there. Of course, everyone has shortages everywhere at this time, but everyone is also working really hard. Google certified teachers, after school program, counselors, and the like. Now, if we were to talk about student support services, I'd say this is probably one of the most important areas in our district. Our current state of affairs is that when our children returned from the pandemic, they returned with a magnitude of need. Areas with frustration, anger, mental health concerns, and need. So our social workers, counselors, psychologists, those individuals are still of great need to our district. So this area is critically important, and we're grateful for the partners we have assisting us because we could not do it in our district without them. In fact, one of our judges just had to leave. We're also excited about Parent University this year and encourage anyone twice a month to join these meetings. They're typically held on Thursday nights, every other Thursday. For instructional technology, this is exciting, exciting, exciting. If you have visited our website lately, you know we have a brand new website. Brand new website. And we did that because we wanted people to be able to find anything they needed in just 3 clicks. Our technology team has made that happen. That occurred this winter. Our robustness of our technology is like laying piping in a house before you build the house. Our technology department has recently come to our board and asked that we go from 1 gig to 10 gig so that we can continue having fast internet service and do the types of things over the next couple of years that are going to need to be done. Now, yesterday presented a challenge, but it had nothing to do with our end. That was Spectrum. I'm so glad they figured it out and we're back up and running today. But our technology department now has a help desk. We have our Digital Stars program, and next year, I'm excited to announce now, we will be going 2-to-1 with our children so that our students will be able to have a computer at home and a computer at school, grades 3 through 12. Grades 3 through 12. They will not need to transport them and run the risk of dropping a laptop. That is a grant our technology department wrote and simply received. We're pleased about that so that we can have good sets in our classroom and youngsters will have their own devices in their home. That's exciting. I was really pleased with our tech department for looking at that and getting that out. Our cybersecurity has been ratcheted up. Our online and blended learning school choices, which I've already mentioned, are on the rise. And our distance learning equipment is the result of a grant we received from the USDA at the tune of $780,000. So we will be able to have professional development for adults and distance learning courses with our community college and other colleges and universities as needed. That's exciting. Every teacher in our district has a MacBook, computer, and students in kindergarten through 2nd grade have devices for classroom use. and here the number of documents, cameras, smart boards, and iPads in our district. Our children just love their devices. They love them. And I love that our district can provide them. Now let's talk finances. We're so pleased to have had a clean audit once again. That makes us all very happy. We love being transparent about our financials, and we are excited that the ESSER dollars are in effect for an additional year, and we continue to make certain we use them well and we remain legally compliant with every piece. Our budget for 21-22 was $112 million, and 49% of that was from the state, 16% local, 22% from the federal government, 6% for capital outlay, and of course child nutrition and after school, child nutrition must be self-sustaining. This is how we spend our budget, 71% on salaries and benefits, and 21% for the operating portion of our budget, 5% for capital outlay. Charter school funds run through our district, and you can see the increase over the past 10 years at a tune of $3.3 million. We at this point send money to 37 charter schools. We send funds to 37 charter schools, and this is our per pupil expenditure. The trend has gone up over time in most areas. Our state, our federal, and then our total. Our local is just taking a bit of a down tip, but the trends are here in front of you. Staff bonuses this year. We have to take care of our staff. We have an excellent staff. We're proud of our staff, and we want to keep our staff. They do an incredible job with our children. So not only has the state seen fit to provide bonuses this year, our Board of Education has seen fit to provide bonuses this year. So we are pleased. We've provided bonuses for retention for all employees, signing bonuses for new hires. We've taken care of our returning employees, and additional bonuses for bus drivers at a tune of $1.7 million. In May of this year, we will be bringing an additional idea before our board to once again try to work with our employees here in Granville County Public Schools. Let's talk operations and auxiliary. Here's some basic facts about transportation. We have a total of 80 yellow buses, 16 to spare in case something breaks down. And then, of course, we have an activity bus on each one of our campuses. We have 6.5 full-time mechanics with 2 vacancies we've been trying to fill for a while. So imagine, with all of those buses and 2 vacancies, that's pretty tight. But they are doing an exceptional job, and we're certainly proud of them. 1 fuel truck driver, but here's some points of pride. We have no buses with serious issues. That's how well they take care of our buses, and I'm so proud of our transportation department. We now have a GPS system in real time on all of our buses, and that Here Comes the Bus app is active, up, and running for all of our parents to use, and we have that security arm stop on our buses with cameras. We're pleased with that. In child nutrition, for basic facts, remember they have to be self-sustaining. They generate their funds. Some points of pride for them is that our parents don't have to turn in paper. They can do their work right online. And we've received a grant to have a refrigerated van to take the food around. And that was most helpful, especially during the pandemic. They've been able to stay financially strong on their own, and our auditors have commented on how everyone is not able to do that in child nutrition. So I'm very pleased to report that today. For maintenance, we have 18 campuses on 611 acres of land. We have 1.5 million square feet of climate-controlled space. That's a lot of climate-controlled space. We have 1 director, 1 secretary, and 12 maintenance staff. They help take care of that with just 45 custodians. We've cut as much as we could. But they do their best to work together and to take care of our property. Here's some points of pride. Let me point this out. I think it's incredible. We have still a third party to come in to make sure we don't deal with that ugly M word. I like M because it's my last name, but we don't want to go back to mold, right? So we still have that third party to come in to make sure we do not deal with that ugly mold word. We talked a little about the LED lighting. School beautification is important to us. We don't have a lot to spend on it, but we do spend some funding on school beautification and landscaping. That program is underway, and this team, along with our custodians, service over 6,000 work orders each year. Over 6,000. New roofs have been installed at Cradle and West Oxford as of late, and we have new fire alarm systems at Butnerston Middle and West Oxford, and those total over $300,000 for just those two. But we got those taken care of. We now have a new fuel system at transportation that was done this winter at $250,000, and we have a schedule for painting. We now have a schedule for painting, and that is for the entire district. So we're pleased with that work. There are just so many things that go that you just don't see. There's some things that are very visible, but there's so many things with maintenance you just don't get to see. But I did get to see these happy faces when they got their playground equipment. Take a look at this. This was at West Oxford Elementary. This was at Butnerston Elementary. And the children were just as fascinated as they could be. Here's some other maintenance pictures we'll just show you that have been improvements in our buildings. Some HVAC system improvements, and I'll now talk with you about planning ahead. The last time I presented to you 2 years ago, absolutely all of these things were on the list, and guess what? Everything with an asterisk, we've already done. We've accomplished. We've accomplished True STEAM at several of our schools. The International Baccalaureate program received permission. We are getting folk trained at Hawley Middle School. The dual language program will now occur. That is getting off of the ground. And we talked about coding experiences, and that is occurring. Increased credential opportunities for our students. That happens through our CTE program. Calendar flexibility and better pay for teachers. That is happening, but that takes legislative action. But those both are underway, and we now have a secondary director in our district, and instructional specialist positions, and restorative justice solutions. Those are all happening since I last met and made a State of the Schools presentation. As we look ahead, we want to make sure we're doing things for students, and we all ask ourselves, what will this world really look like? Well, take a look at some of these jobs and see if you know what the world is going to look like. Do you know what these jobs are? I bet some of our students do. And if not, they've already been posted in some places. So as we plan ahead, we might want to plan for a few of them. What I can tell you is we have begun, because we've taken some trips and we've surveyed and talked about video production studios, recording studios, gaming studios, live simulation technologies, leadership academies, IB, centralized farmland and botanical gardens, early exposure to the grades, to pathways and trades and graduate profiles. What we know is we want children to leave here with high school diplomas and certifications. We want children to be prepared for their future, not ours. Together with our county commissioners, we've applied for the needs-based grant, and we are so proud as we sit eagerly awaiting to see if this is going to happen or not, to see whether we will be able to rebuild Hawley Middle School. So we all have our fingers crossed, but this is something our two boards have jointly gone in on, and we are waiting to see. This is something that will occur. We want to modernize our culinary arts and business programs. If you take a look at the top of the page, that is a new food truck trailer that has been purchased to modernize culinary arts and blend it with business. It is being wrapped as we speak and will be unveiled next month so that we can give our students the best training we possibly can for that experience.
We want to meet accreditation and fully attain it for our district. That is being undergone this month. And we want to keep the focus on reading and math very strong. We want to continue choice offerings at all schools and increase our graduation rate and improve student attendance. We want to decrease some of those behaviors we talked about and successfully continue preparations for IB and Holly. We want to create a new innovation center with state-of-the-art programming in our district using some of those ESSER dollars and put a nice package together to keep our quality educators in Granville County Public Schools. We also want to make sure our dual language program gets off the ground successfully and reinstate our AP Academy for assistant principals. We want to apply for the new electric bus grant coming out. Electric buses are on the horizon for the state of North Carolina, and our district will be applying for the electric bus grants. And we want to continue with our blended and virtual academy. This summer, there's some amazing summer programs, more than we've ever offered before. We're asking everyone to stay tuned because we have Summer Melt, Summer Adventures, Summer Quest, Summer Bridge, and then it will be followed with Summer Graduation. We want everyone to apply. Applications are coming out very soon. Some will be by invitation, but there will be lots for children to do this summer. There are some upcoming dates we invite all of you to join us for. We look forward to seeing you. Our district is still on the move. We thank you for coming this morning. I thank our board, all of our ambassadors who are here, our task force members, our commissioners, our business advisory members, and I think we need to ask our children, so how has it been since you've come back? Let's let them tell us what is the state of affairs in our schools. They have a little something to say about it.
It feels good. I think it feels better being in person because it's easier to learn.
It's alright. I made a lot of new friends, and that was fun. And I like all my teachers.
I think we can better learn in person because a lot of people can't really learn virtual because they're not at their house and it's better at school.
Because I can meet new kids that came to school this year. Good. There's a lot of snacks. I get to learn. I get to do math all the time. I get to do homework. I feel happy that I won't have to go online and that I can finally talk to my friends.
I feel very great about it. It's very fun here, and the playground is very cool.
It feels good. Like that I get to do everything in person instead of having to do it on the computer.
It feels great because I get to be around my friends and I'm back with my band.
It's alright. You get to see your friends and then you don't have to wear the mask anymore. And it's better for some people to learn at school instead of online. That's for me, personally.
Pretty good. It's better than having to sit for 4 hours in a seat at home.
Oh man, I came back at the end of the pandemic last year, so it was kind of just like a fresh breeze, a breath of fresh air.
It's better this year because I'm taking nursing fundamentals, which is a very more hands-on class, which makes it very fun.
Very nice. I'm really glad to be back at school, talk to friends and socialize, and it is really great.
It's really exciting, and it's a lot easier than online school.
Honestly, I love being back in school this year. I love being able to see my friends, being back in in-person school, seeing my teachers. Being online was really hard because you didn't get to see anybody.
It's nice. It's better than online. Better than online.
Agreed.
Good because I have more friends to talk to than when we were at home, and I get to concentrate better.
Good. You can see all your friends instead of having to see them online.
You can see my friends. It's hard since they live in different places and it's hard to communicate with each other. And in person is better.
It's been pretty good. I like in-person learning better because it's easier to learn. I get to have interactive time with the teacher. and you get quicker answers.
But coming back to school has honestly been a blessing to get to see my friends in person again, to have fun, and even better, my grades has went up exponentially. So I love it, honestly.
If you want to know our state of affairs, I'd say it's good. It's good. You have at your seat a report card. This is our annual report. It's the Cliff Notes version of what you got this morning. I hope you'll take time to read it and share it. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate all of the partnership. We thank you for helping us make a difference in the lives of children every day. Because this is what it's really about, getting them to their future and crossing that finish line. Thank you so very much. I turn it over to our chairman, Mr. David Richardson.
So I think on behalf of our board and our community, I think we owe another round of applause to our leader. As you can tell, we've had challenges over the last couple of years, but we have come through those challenges and we are focusing, that's the word, focusing on the things that are important here in Granville County Schools. You heard from our biggest stakeholders, our children, those that we are producing educational opportunities for, and we want to continue to do that to the very best of our ability here in Granville County Public Schools. There are many choices for education across this district and this state, but I have always led our board to believe, and I have said numerous times, that Granville County is the best choice, that we want our community to recognize the value that they have in their school system and the opportunities that we're giving to our students that are up and coming. These are things that are totally different from when I was in school, totally different from when you were in school. I've said several times I'm a proud product of this school district, and it is enlightening to come back and see how our teachers are still keeping the main thing the main thing. Though the techniques have changed, though the standards may have changed a little bit, the basis and the foundation are still there. And so we want to thank you as a community for supporting us for that. I would encourage you, the wonderful things that you've heard today, go and tell your friends. Help us tell the story of Granville County Public Schools. Oftentimes the bad news moves much quicker than the good news. And so I want to give you the opportunity to be a champion and a cheerleader for our school district. That is a goal that I set in front of our board quite often, that we will hear the bad stuff, we will hear the complaints, we will hear the concerns, and that's okay because that's what we're here for. However, we are to be the champion and the cheerleaders of our educators, our principals, our executive team, but most importantly, the children of Granville County. We keep kids first as the focus here in Granville County. And as long as I'm able to serve with you and for you, that will remain our focus. That no matter what we do, if we keep children at the front of the forethoughts of the decisions we're making, we can't go wrong. And so again, I want to thank you for taking the time this morning for coming to hear the state of our schools. And so you can hear some of our challenges and opportunities. Maybe you can partner with us for some of those. But also that you can go out and tell the people in the community what is great about Granville County Public Schools. Myself, our board, our superintendent, our executive team stand ready to help you tell that story. We are available to help get you information, for you to see firsthand the things that are going on within our school district. And again, it's just incredible to see the things that we have come out of and the challenges that we faced in order to see these students walk across a stage, but not only that, go on to what their next potential is. Their potential may be a four-year university, or it may be a trade school, or it may be going straight into the military or workforce, but we stand ready to help them achieve those goals. So again, on behalf of the Board of Education and Granville County Public Schools, we thank you for your attendance this morning, and again, just want you to be a part of our family and our story. Thank you so very much. It gives me honor to introduce our Executive Director of Human Resources, probably the second hardest job in the district sometimes, to find good quality educators that are staying with us. And so, Mr. Perry, if you'll come and dismiss us.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Richardson. At this time, this concludes our State of the Schools address from our superintendent. We've learned a lot about the challenges and reflections and the things moving forward, but most importantly, the vision moving forward. So at this time, please feel free to enjoy some refreshments out in the vestibule and fellowship with our friends here. Thank you for attending today, and have a wonderful day.